Hello students, how are you? As you know, we have finished the topic covered for BPSC mains. Now we are starting new series of lecture on public administration, which can be useful for all civil service examination, including UPSC. The content will be discussed later on. Today I am taking up the typology of public administration. What sort of public administration we are required to do, required to study. This topic is having a comprehensive view of public administration as in its evaluation phase, and that will make your understanding clear. And that when you start writing the scope, nature, importance of public administration, you are required to take holistic view. In general, what we find, suppose you go through any book and see what is the scope of public administration. In general, we find the discussion on the scope of public administration is based on traditional approach. Like we will write postcode view, subject matter view, etc. If you see the nature of public administration, we take two traditional view like postcode integral view and post managerial view. So what I mean to say, while writing this thing, you require to understand public administration in totality. Public administration is universal phenomena. It is you can find everywhere, no matter what time I am talking of, not matter place we are discussing. It can be discussed under two heads: public administration as an activity or process, and public administration as a subject. Wherever public administration and activity or process is concerned, it is as old as political system is. If you can get it traced back to Indus Valley civilization, modern administration, Mughal administration, etc. But wherever public administration as a subject is concerned, it emerged in America in 1887. So it is around 100, you can say 30 or more than 30 years old history. Getting a point? So now, we can divide public administration into two heads: developed country and developing country. Public administration in developed country, we have taken USA as a standard, and other countries are also included. And in developing country, we take India as an ideal one, and other country also included. Because we are preparing for Indian civil services, so definitely we require to understand in Indian perspective. Get your point? So wherever America is concerned, I told this more as a subject first of all in America. So on the basis of its evaluation, we can classify public administration under several heads. Now first is called traditional public administration, which emerged in 1887. Then new public administration, which emerged in 1968, new public management emerged in 1992, and now new public service approach emerged in 2004. Getting point? Wherever India is concerned or developing country is concerned, in the beginning, traditional public administration continued. Getting point? But after Second World War, development administration became its hallmark, because these countries are developing countries and their development is the top priority. And in 90s, they have changed. Now their development dynamics is there. That is a new version of development administration. So we all require to understand that this thing will give you holistic view of public administration, and that will give you to understand public administration in very comprehensive manner. When you talk of traditional public administration, it is also called Wilson's view on public administration. Woodrow Wilson, he was professor of political science in Princeton University. Later on, he became president of America. Getting point? He developed public administration as a subject. In 1887, he has written one article called The Study of Administration, in which he propounded the politics administration dichotomy. This article became landmark for evaluation of public administration subject. Getting a point? The politics administration dichotomy was against The prevailing system that is called a SWAR system in American administrative system. The SWAR system was started in 1825 by then President Robert Jackson. Get your point? And other presidents also like Jefferson, Adams, you can say Washington also supported this one. Get your point? This thing, the SWAR system was based on ideology that public posts are of very common nature and any average person can perform it effectively. So it should not made enslavement of particular service. Rather it should be made open to everyone. So what generally it was happening there with political changes, administrative systems were supposed to be changed because they felt that with political changes, administrative system get spoiled, so they require to be changed. So when president is changed, from president, all the official, including clerk, manual worker, all were supposed to be changed. And these posts were given on political, you can say reward for giving support to political party to come into power. So that the democracy, equality, marriage system were grossly neglected, and jobs were given on, you can say given as political reward. Getting point? So there was discontent in society, youths were not given job. Getting point? And there was also lack of consistency in public policy and administration. So what was the intention? Whosoever came to power, they had objective to misuse power in earliest. Getting point? That's why it is also called loot pranali. Getting point? So in 1881, you can say disappointed youth George Gattu assassinated then American President James Garfield. Afterward, a SWAR system was removed, abolished, and 1883, through a Presidential Act, marriage system was introduced. Get a point? And in sequence, in 1887, Woodrow Wilson has written an article called Study of Administration in which he pointed out politics, administration dichotomy. Get a point? To him, politics and administration are two different things. Politics is concerned with policy formulation and administration is concerned with policy execution. Getting point? Woodrow Wilson considered that administrative problems are not political problems. He pointed out that administration lies outside the jurisdiction of politics. He compared or he quoted field of administration and field of business, which is free from ups and the turmoils of politics. He also termed public administration as science and pointed out that the science of public administration is birth of his country and his of generation. Get a point? So why he told public administration science? Because he thought that it is based on scientific approach, number one, and it can be basically to make the functioning of the structure and functioning of government smoothen. So that was objective to function, to make business, to perform business-like, more business-like, to simplify the procedure, to bring professionalism in system. Woodrow Wilson once quoted that running constitution is, difficult than framing constitution. So running constitution is difficult. Any point? Compared to framing constitution. So Woodrow Wilson has given, or you can say laid foundation of public administration as a subject, and afterward there was in American University it was offered as a subject and it became popular. So in 1887, you can say politics administration dichotomy, getting point, was basically a main reason responsible for emergence of traditional public administration. And Woodrow Wilson have several opinion with regard to administration. First, politics administration dichotomy. Second, public administration as a field of business. Number 3, public administration as science. And number 4, comparative approach to study of public administration. Getting a point, he told that to bring efficiency, perfection in public administration, it is rather imperative to study comparative, to adopt comparative approach to learn distinguished features of other systems. Getting point, he was also having apprehension that if you compare or you start comparing this a different system, there you can say wrongs, there bad manners, bad value system may also get entry into your system. But he pointed out that no, you don't have to adopt their value system. You have to adopt their skill only. Just like if you see a murderer sharpening his knife, you have to just listen or understand or learn his skill rather than his intention. Getting point? Woodrow Wilson pointed out that it since political system was supposed to look after affair of public governance, that's why public administration emerged later on. When 1887, when situation became very difficult and it was almost become impossible for political system to control administrative system, that's why public administration emerged as a separate subject. Getting point? The traditional public administration is based on two main, two defining pillars. First, politics administration dichotomy, and second, you can say, principles of administration. In 1927, Willoughby, in his book Principles of Administration, pointed out that science administration, like science administration, has certain universal principles which can be applied everywhere. In between 1927 to 37, all scholars try to discover principles of administration. Getting a point? So, principles of administration and politics administration dichotomy were two defining pillars for traditional public administration. The Bavarian model of bureaucracy and scientific management theory, administrative management theory, all are, manifestation of traditional public administration, or they share almost same ideology what traditional public administration share. So traditional public administration has several features, like in traditional public administration there is impersonal nature of duty, then hierarchy, then rule orientation, then merit system, then strong disciplinary system, then career system, then you can say distinction between organizational resources and personal resources, etc. This public administration has two main objectives: first, economy, and second, efficiency. This continued for a long period till arrival of new public administration. The new traditional public administration, or you can say Wilson view of public administration, was in existence in between 1887 to 1968. However, and after Second World War, with the change in situation, there was criticism against traditional public administration started, but it was completely replaced by new public administration in 1960 onwards only. New public administration, as the name suggests, it is based on new value. Getting a point? This was developed in 1968. Why I use the term new 1968? Because it was the time of first Munich conference. Till now, three Munich conferences took place: 1968, 1988, and 2008. And fourth conference is supposed to take place on 2028. Getting point? So, new public administration was developed by Dwight Waldo, Marini, Frank J. Marini, George Fredrickson, Negro, etc. Getting point? Golombarsky. So, new public administration is basically antithesis of traditional public administration. It believes that public administration should not only concern with economy and efficiency, rather it should be responsive to societal needs and priorities. Getting point? After Second World War, situation changed completely. Non-interfering state became interfering state. Welfare state object or no, welfare state notion was adopted. As a result, the role and function of state increased manifold, and that was also requiring change in administration. However, administration was pursuing the old same goal. That's why there was some sort of, you can say, inconsistency between requirement and availability. Some young scholar from political science background raised movement, and that ultimately lead to emergence of new public administration. And the Honey Report, Philadelphia Conference, Minnebro Conference 1 are some important landmark in the evolution of new public administration. The new public administration has several anti-goals and goals, like it is anti-postalistic, anti-technical, anti-bureaucratic or anti-hierarchic. On the other hand, it has several goals like relevance, then value, then client orientation, then change, then social equity. In fact, social equity is hallmark of new public administration. Getting a point? The new public administration we have emphasized on effectiveness aspect. Getting a point that public administration should be effective. It should be responsive to ecology. Getting a point, it should be effective to societal priority. So this was the thing which continued in 1968. It started in 1968 and continued till 1992. Late 1980s witnessed several significant changes. The collapse of Soviet USSR, former USSR, then you can say disintegration and of USSR, you can say, then failure of socialistic ideology, then aggregation or grouping of country on economic interest, formation of European Economic Community, then NAFTA, SAFTA, all led emergence of new economic order led by LPG, new public liberalization, privatization and globalization. They led emergence of new public management. This is called new public management. It emerged in 1992. It emerged in response to inadequacy addressed by new public administration. Due to welfare orientation and interfering nature of state, corruption increase, public expenditure increase, and fiscal imbalance, fiscal mismanagement was there. That's why in new public management, the slogan was, we don't need more governance, we need better governance. Governance is, mechanism to solve our problem collectively, and this mechanism has become outdated, and now it is time to remake it. So now new public management emerged in 1992 with the publication of book Reinventing Government by Ted Gabler and David Osborne. Get a point? This book, this Reinventing Government has led emergence of one movement in America called Rego movement. Re means Re, reinventing, G-O, Rego means government. The Rego movement. This was in favor of completely change of role of market and state with regard to economy and society. It was in favor of giving more role to market rather than to state. Getting point? It was basically having 3 E's concept: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. In fact, new public management is blend of traditional public administration and new public administration. It is also trend of combination of public administration and private administration, market and state mechanism, and you can say it is some sort of mid part between these two. It is based on public service, public choice approach and new terrorism. In fact, with new public administration, one concept emerged that is called public choice approach. It was developed by Austin Vincent. Getting point? As the name suggests, it was having belief in democratic administration against bureaucratic administration. It pointed that bureaucratic administration is good, but not in position to address diverse society issues and priorities of different sections of society. That's why there should be democratic administration, institutional pluralism, healthy competition among service providers to public causes. Then there should be decentralized decision making, delegation of power. Get your point? So these were some ideology of new public choice approach. Get your point? Means giving more choice to public, more choice, more satisfaction. And new terrorism means adopting private tools, private techniques and methodology of private sector to government sector. So in new public identity management, we have both the elements: new public administration element, and new public services and traditional public administration approach. So you can say it is blend of these three. That's why it is called 3 E's: economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. It is also certain anti-goals and goals. Anti-goals include, you can say, politics, administration, dichotomy, principles of administration, hierarchy, hidden organization, inward orientation, rigidity, rationality in decision making. These things were considered as an anti-goal. And goal, what were goal? Goal where you can say creation of autonomy to public organization, then reducing the size of government, then corporatization of public organization, then reducing budget and welfare expenditure, then reforming civil services structure. Means what I mean to say, economy, efficiency, effectiveness, relevance, value, all were given place in new public management approach. Getting point? Here economy and efficiency, here effectiveness, here relevance, value system, all were got a manifestation in new public management. Getting point? But public administration is very dynamic subject and it is very much responsive to societal changes. So in 21st century when we entered, right issue become important. Right become important. To consider individual as citizen, a customer, is now under question mark. Several critics started raising concern that if you consider individual as customer, then there may be discrimination and exploitation of public cause. So they should be considered a valuable citizen. That's why new approach came, that is called new public service approach. Getting a point? That is Robert Denhart and Janet Denhart, in 2004. New public service approach. One more approach came in the meanwhile, that is called new public governance approach. Getting a point? So what I mean to say, here there was work on thrust on implementation. Getting a point? Thrust on implementation. Here there was thrust on performance. Here there was thrust on steering, not managing, steering the thing. And now we are here thrust on services to serve the customer, individual. Getting a point? Here there was thrust on 2E. Here there was thrust on effectiveness, 1E. Here 3E. Here 3E plus justice also. They say that individuals are valuable citizens. And, in democracy, authority lies with individual, public. And public is basically sovereign. So it is their right to get qualitative and quantitative service from you. If you are giving services to them, it doesn't mean that you are obliging them. Rather, it is your duty to give them services. So it challenges new public management. to consider individual as customer wrong. It also criticized new public management on giving too much concern on market forces and neglecting public cause. There was no effective trust on accountability also in new public management. That's why new public management was replaced and was very much under criticism. And now, in present, on the one hand, new public management is getting criticized by or threatened by new public service approach on the one hand. On the other hand, e-governance and digital governance. So what I mean to say, new public service approach is an alternative to, you can say, supplement to new public management, in which there is message to give services as their right, and it is now duty to serve them. It is to serve is the hallmark of new public service approach. Democratization or democracy is the major concern. It believes in and that individual getting point since it is sovereign, that's why you should be accountable to their cause, their interest. You should give timely, qualitatively, and you can say effectively services to public. The new public service approach came in 2004. Getting what it is, you can say, in addition to new public management, it criticized new public management for overlooking accountability, for considering individual as customer and giving too much concern on market forces, overlooking public policy cause. That's why new public service approach work on that one. Accountability, citizenry, then public policy, strategic public policy, then you can say value orientation, etc. The new public service approach is now new phase of public administration. Where developing this country is concerned, I told in the beginning there was traditional public administration. If you take India, before independence in India there was, you can say, continuance of traditional public administration. At a point, based on not interfering, collecting only revenue, exploiting resources, maintaining law and order only, no concern at all for development. And when they did development, that was for their own cause only. That was not genuine cause for development of nation. After independence or after Second World War, development administration became important. George Gantt is considered father of new development administration, and U.L. Goswami, an ICS officer, was considered for the first time coined the term development administration in 1956 when his article published in IGPA, the structure of development administration in India. Getting a point? Edward Widner, Rakes are important personality in development administration. Edward Widner defined development administration as goal-oriented and action-oriented administrative system, while Rakes defined public development administration as administration and development and development of administration, and they pointed out the relation between these two as egg-chicken causation. Getting point? So this development administration was basically state-oriented, state control. It was democracy dominated. It was having top-down approach that was concerned on agricultural development, industrial development, etc. Getting point? It was having singular model for development for the entire country. Getting point? That was having some elitist nature in orientation, having work for blueprint approach and people plan for people, etc. But this led to lopsided development. In some places, development took place significantly, and several places it was not properly registered, and that's why there was discontentment, frustration, and anti-development thesis emerged. Getting point? So Naxalism, separatism, You can say divisive forces or manifestation of anti-development thesis in at worldwide level. In India also you can find such sort of things because they oppose development to get their due share because the development, the distribution, the benefit of the distribution, development is not properly distributed. Some section of society cornered it, the larger share, and major section were not largely. That's why there was some sort of, last time you might have found, we have seen what was disaster of development administration in lockdown. As government announced lockdown, next day we found lakhs of people in Delhi were trying to reach their native state because they were not in position to feed themselves for next day. So they were not in position to sustain themselves for 2 or 3 days. That is the issue of development. What development we achieve in last 50 or 20 years when we are not in position to secure 1 week or fortnight food security to them. This was a very important thing we have found at that time. So now in 1990s, with the situation changed, development administration was replaced by development dynamics. It is holistic approach to development. It takes development as multidimensional and in very, you can say, organic way. And it has also included anti-development thesis, market, state debate, then LPG concern, then you can say self-help group, women empowerment, etc. So it is new localism, then you can say new civil service activism, then you can say globalization, localization. So these things are great tradition, literary traditions, everything. What you find in development dynamics, it takes holistic approach to development and it believes in sustainable development and inclusive growth. Otherwise, development administration was concerned with agricultural development or industrial development. This is inclusive development. What is inclusive growth? That means the benefit of development should reach to the lowest, the first marginal section of society also. And what is sustainable development? That it should be not at the cost of future generation. It should be ecological orientation in orientation. So these things are very important. So now we have such type of public administration. In America there is new public service approach. In India there is development administration and development dynamics. So suppose we write the meaning, the scope, then its nature and importance of public administration in general, then we have to take care of this development also. Otherwise, if we stick to the traditional one like traditional approach, integral approach or managerial approach, this is incomplete and not addressing the thing properly. That's why I suggest to take a view of holistic approach, then start writing. That will be good in scoring and that will also make your understanding broad and up to date. Getting point? So this, what I told today, will make your understanding clear. It will give you some sort of insight to upgrade your answer quality. So listen once or twice, and if you have any sort of difficulty, you can ask me also. Okay, thanks, and right, start doing. Do continue your preparation with full vigor and vigor. Okay, thanks, enjoy.